That's the song's name, Failure. Failure, when ghosts become a martyr. Failure, when demons own the weather. I'm reading up on songwriting and how to get into the music industry, and I came across my day name. Diversifying your approach. Okay, so today the sun has entered into the sign of Cancer. I know a baby was born yesterday in the family. She's actually a late Gemini. So today the sun enters Cancer, and I'm diversifying my approach on day 429 in the Andrew universe. I want to go beyond the image that you see in front of you. I want you to ignore that that's there. And I've learned to intellectualize sort of the pattern of what it is. What you're seeing is the five sense, or 5, 6 senses version of what's going on here. But what you can't see, I want to show you. This is my pattern, the psychological pattern that makes me up, and you probably don't understand it, but I've learned these are the planets and the signs of the sky and all the houses that they're in and all the angles that they make. And for about 2 years now, I've always sort of thought in archetypes. So I definitely took to this, like what Mars is in people and what Venus is, and I know this pretty much inside out, and I can feel it in my life when I'm going to Jupiter and Leo in the 3rd house or stuff like this. And I'll even add some other things that float around in space, some asteroids and whatnot in there. But when I say it's usually an embarrassing sort of thing to say I want to do something in the musical industry. But this pattern, I can do so much neat stuff. It's about riding the waves, catching the wave of prominence to affect the most people in integrity you can. And one of the neat things is these lines here from Mars in the 12th house. When something's in the 12th house, it's sort of like a cell that people can't see. Like there's something about that person of there's always something going on behind the scenes working. And a 5th house, 0 Scorpio sun, well, that's pretty neat too. So this is what is called the finger of God, meaning a destiny sort of thing. And on the ends of this are the moon, Neptune, and Uranus. See, I was born in 1990 when all these planets here were together in Capricorn. So someone who has this is going to be a lot more focused. With the moon, it's going to be emotional kind of motives to keep that. And Pluto, that moves very slow in the sign of Scorpio, so it's sort of the depth of all understanding. And then also at the same time, Mars is working in the 12th house right there. But over here, Neptune and this whole conjunction of a bunch of planets with the moon is actually in a yod between this and Jupiter, the retrograde Mars and Jupiter. So that interplay there makes it really neat to bring things from the sea, inventional, and fixed in emotions, that I can look at myself in the mirror and want to bring myself to tears because of some of my songs. So I know that the Creator has given me gifts to find from the very depth of me at Virgo. And if you know, the planet, or the asteroid Pallas, actually sits right there on the IC. And I know it's about spotting patterns. And people like Carl Jung and Ron Paul, Sigmund Freud, have that right on top of the sun, that Pallas. So definitely, as the planets orbit in the sky, we orbit. And this is where I'm trying to find my midhaven. Usually when a planet goes through there, and it makes some math with some of the planets below, it allows some ease to it. So today's the beginning of Cancer. Usually a month will have a certain theme. I go by the astrology months and not the Gregorian months. So even though it's not July yet, it's, you know, I'm celebrating July today. And it'll have a certain theme to it. Always. Today is on a Pisces moon. So Pisces moon sort of mutable. I went over to Walmart last night. So when you're looking at me, you're seeing that. I can do whatever to my body. I might even comb my hair if it matters. But what's really going on behind the scenes is all this psychology stuff. And this retrograde Mars is introverted. So inside me all this is going on. But of course I'm thinking that life is only windows. That when I can see what takes place inside of me is actually taking place outside of me on the world. So that's actually a retrograde Mars in Gemini in the 12th house of commutative is actually a really powerful aspect I've learned to come into. So I just gotta think now, okay, what is my purpose for that pattern, and what can I do to that pattern? Like, I could sit here and just write something beautiful, fixed in emotion, something innovative, and yet deep with Scorpio and Pluto, Mercury, and the Sun in Scorpio, and a loving kind of Venus, so I can do stuff like make videos. So also though, the Pluto's intimidating, and Jupiter is sort of like how you can expand. There's a little bit of tension there in the math. If you go into geometry, that would be the square aspect. It would make a right angle. And I noticed that one too, that it's, to my commutative, it's sort of embarrassing to tell people what's fun for me to do. And it also goes against my 8th house sort of beliefs on the unknown. It sort of injures that a little bit. So I have to work with my pattern. And you see me here and I can do so much stuff. That's just the way the sky looks. I'm a thinking person. I got all that going on in here, and I can just, you know, you just have to manifest it. Put it on the screen and show people this pattern as you're diversifying your, whatever it was. That's another thing with when you put Neptune right next to the moon. Sometimes it's hard to think, and when you put Mercury and Scorpio on top of that. So today is going to be all about, it's actually a Mercurial day kind of think. How do I take what I was given, my thinker box thingamajigger is what I'll call it, and take it out only windows and make retrograde Mars into the potential is just staggering of what we can do. What each one of us can do with our pattern. So unique. When we find the sun, we find the whole solar system. And we can do myriads and myriads of stuff coming out of our own doubt from our own childhood. everything that we had as false perceptions, and not only seeing correct perceptions, but creatively going into there and seeing that it's not about what's the largest, the solar system, or the smallest, the atoms. It's that sweet spot, that little pendulum there, where you just hit the depth of the solar system and the galaxy. You have to find that little point where the sun shines brightest, where you can look in your eyes and you can see the sun, and you got all your other planets align in such a certain way that you can just, if you understand this stuff, if you can comprehend with the English language what all you can do within the physical laws, within what everybody else can do, what contests, what you can help people to accomplish, what you can help others realize about themselves, and what you can learn to take with you wherever it is that you go, just to make this life experience just this wonderful fa-la-la-la of awesome. I want to go further with this pattern idea because you remember Adam and Eve were separated from Eden by this word. You heard it 2 places, in the Bible and in the Smashing Pumpkins song, but you still have no idea what it means. Cherubim is the word, and a flaming sword that spins in every which way. I think it was Ezekiel who describes the 2 cherubim in the dream. One of them is the ox, one of them is the lion, one of them is the eagle, and one of them is the man. Also in with King Solomon, where they put the tabernacle underneath its most holy place, underneath the cherubim. In the popular version of Revelations says that Jesus will come back riding on a white horse. But if you read either one of the Proverbs or the Psalms, or it says he'll come riding on a cherub. And that's this. That will be the age of Aquarius. When Jesus returns, it will be a sign in the sky. There will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. And these letters here, I call them letters of what we know as planets. See, we invented all these languages. This is, you know, Mystery Babylon right here. Before languages were created, it was just these letters. These are the 22 Hebrew letters. 22 is also the number of the tarot card. And you can watch in your facial patterns. Venus, I'll wink my eyes and do that a little bit. And then Mercury, I'll look stern, and sometimes I'll put my finger up, or I want to put my finger up, or I want to use my hands. And then Mars is sort of like this. That's Jupiter, because I'm really happy about what I'm going to say. And then that kickback kind of feel is the moon. So the solar system, Jupiter, Venus, that might have been Uranus. Uranus in my face. That's Jupiter combined with Venus. That's Saturn. Or maybe this video will be so trippy that you'll lose your mind over it. Exodus to Adders. I'm gonna write a whole bunch of songs tonight that were never in the world before, just to see what. And I got over the romance of respect your elders.